Hello, hello, hello.
Hey there, can you hear me?
Yeah, give me
Great.
1 second. Hook up the Bluetooth, man. Brother.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, give me
Great.
1 second. Hook up the settlement here. Go the heck with it. Technology, man.
Yeah, it's sometimes it gets a little hard to navigate through it, but it works in the end.
It works on the end. So, how do I say your name, man?
Absolutely. Well, Marple Fox. I am 23. I am a musician, obviously. I play drums, guitar, bass. I sing, I produce. I've been playing live since I'm like, I don't know, forever basically. Well, yeah, that's basically about it. I make metal music.
Dude, I've heard your tracks and they're fantastic, man.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got somebody else here. Let's put them on. We got Jan and Citron. But I want to talk more about your stuff in a minute. I'm excited.
All right.
Very good stuff. Hey, there she is. Hello, hello, hello. Awesome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, yeah, so tell me, man, like, did you start off playing guitar or
No, so I started with drums actually at the age of 4. I literally begged my parents to buy me a drum kit. And they caved in eventually. So I started just drumming, taking lessons, and then around like 14 I bought my first guitar. And then that led into singing, and then I was like, wait, hold on a second. I feel like I can like actually produce something, with like what I have right now. Because I have a drum kit, I have a guitar, I have a microphone. Like, why not? I was in like two different bands at the time, and like I wanted to write a certain kind of music that really wasn't what they were into at the time. So I was just like, well, what the hell? I'll just do it on my own. Um, so yeah, I guess that basically answers your your question.
that's great. So I mean, when you first started recording yourself, were you using Logic, GarageBand? Like what were you doing?
Well, I was like 13, so yes, GarageBand was like what was accessible to me. And obviously I found out that I could not record drums with what I had because, I had them in my living room, right? Like there was no way I could just mic the entire drum kit up in my living room. It sounded like, complete garbage. So I started like learning how to program drums with like the sounds that were like available on GarageBand. And then I just bought like a little interface for my guitar, and then I just plugged in my guitar to my computer, and then it just started off that way. And with singing, I had like the old, what is it, like Apple headphones with like a little microphone right here.
Yeah,
So that worked for me at the time. So yeah.
I love the
Very DIY.
creativity. Use what you got, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, whatever you have at your disposal, that's and sometimes works out great, right?
Exactly. I've seen a lot of people like blame the technology that they have like access to. It's like, oh, my songs could be greater if only I had like more money. It's like, no. Song is king, and if you're creative enough to, you know, use what you got, you're gonna, eventually make it. And sure, I mean, obviously, as you grow up, you end up having more access to things. But if the only thing you have is a little MIDI keyboard, just plug it into your computer. That's a song right
Right?
there.
Right? Yeah. I mean, it's use what you got. And like I'm thinking about the context of that. So like if all I had was headphones with the headphone mic, I mean, you could do some cool stuff with that. You could EQ it. You could could people do that stuff on purpose. So it's exactly what you're saying. Somebody could look at it and say, "Well, I don't have an expensive, new Neumann, however you say, Neumann, Neumer, you know, or universal mic or whatever, $2,000 mic." But there's people with access to all the money in the world who would use the same technique because they're going for that sound. You just make it your sound, right?
Exactly. And like, Michael Jackson recorded Thriller with like a cheap microphone,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. I think probably an SM57, man. Like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was one
one
of
of
those.
those for $50. Or back then it was probably like $10, in the
Yeah,
80s. I mean, whatever. Yeah, man, it's just how you use it. And like you said, song is king, right?
there you go. There you go. Yeah, and like recently I've been fortunate enough to have a lot more equipment, and like I went to school in Vancouver for film, and they had a recording studio in there and I could just use it for free. So I was like, why not,
Heck yeah. Oh man. That's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool. So,
Yeah.
I mean, when did you start putting out your own mixes and stuff? Because I'm sure you were learning as you went. I mean, did you find any video tutorials, or you were just not like you make it to this level and you just kept getting better?
Man, everything I could get my hands on, everything. Like I was born in Costa Rica. I'm actually here right now in Costa Rica, Latin America.
Right on.
Yeah, so I started putting out music in like 2021, with like very questionable mixes, but hey, it was something. I ended up like getting like a little bit of like attention from like a lot of like, indie artists and like indie fans basically. But I and just didn't like the mixes, so I ended up taking them down. Because what I wanted to do was just like I wanted to rework the songs and like put them out in like a better quality. But basically every single YouTube tutorial, like I didn't even know how to, pan the guitars and make them sound like aggressive and massive. I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how to, properly EQ like the entire master bus, basically. I have no idea how to do anything. So I was just like making it up as I went. And something that is really useful is taking like three songs that you like and basically referencing your mix to those songs. That is something every single producer does, and it helps a lot. I don't know if I'm like going over the question right now, but I had the opportunity of meeting a very proficient producer in Vancouver, and he invited me over to Hipposonic, basically, well, what was used to be called what's the name? Little Mountain Sound, and he was mixing a song and he was just like playing a different song at the same time.
Right.
And he was like, "Yeah, dude, I'm just referencing." And I was like,
Dude,
"Yeah, there you go."
but you're bringing up such great points. I mean, find three mixes that you like. And it's not even like you have to be exactly like what they're doing, but just to give you a starting point. Even when it comes to writing songs, like when I write stuff, I have references. Now, some people can look at me, well, you're gonna say, no, I'm not trying to necessarily sound like them, but you have to have a point of reference to start because otherwise you're kind of like starting out of thin air, right? You need something. It's like, well, I like how the drums sound on this track. Well, I like how the vocals are mixed on this track. And it just gives you something to start, right? Rather than picking out of thin air.
Exactly. And like don't try to invent the wheel, Like whatever you're thinking of, somebody's already done it better. That's it's just the reality of it, right? So, and there's a reason why successful artists are successful. There's a reason why. The Nevermind album from Nirvana was so revolutionary, even though the production quality is compared to other albums isn't, in my opinion, that great, but it made something that the music industry and basically needed at the moment. So it's like, hey, if you like XYZ artist, if you like their sound, why not? You got the tools. And something important too is don't, if somebody, if a friend or whatever, that doesn't really know about music, because I have a lot of friends and that just have no idea about music production or anything, but they know, it's like they're used to listening to music, right? And they can give you valuable feedback as far as like one friend told me like years ago, he was like, I don't know, man, I feel like the instrumental sounds like it was recorded in a different studio compared to the vocals. I
Right.
have no idea what I'm talking about. It just sounds like that. I'm like, interesting. Why would you say that? And then that just makes you think, right? I don't know, this is a little off topic, but yeah.
No, no, no. It's very informative. It's very informative. I like people that figure it out, music artists, because that's just what you got to do. You just got to figure it out and get there and practice and get better and practice and get better. And you bring up a lot of really good points, including, yeah, yeah, when Nirvana hit, man. I mean, it was so different. It's so funny because I remember hearing them for the first time, and a buddy of mine was playing it in the car, and I imagined totally something. I imagine like some Danzig looking dudes wearing all black and just buffed out and like mean because it sounded so like tough. I mean, it was like so full of energy and pumped up. And then I saw the music video and I was like, wait a minute, Kurt Cobain looks like some dude lost in the library. Like somebody help him find his lost library card. I mean, but he was coming from a different angle. And then once I listened to it, I understood it. I was like, oh no, no, he's just very deep. He's very cool, very smart, smart guy. And but yeah, this takes courage to do something different and come from somewhere else. And that's why it was so big at the time. It just took over everything because it was totally opposite of everything else that was going on. Totally.
Exactly. And like, I feel like one of the reasons why they hit so hard was because everybody was like getting tired of the, overproduction of the 80s and the glam and the big hair and the spandex and the leather and everything. So it's like just don't be afraid to be different, you know what I mean? Like nobody wants to see clones of, I don't know, whatever is popular today, Benson Boone or I don't know. Uh like
No, you're
just
right.
yeah, just be you. And maybe if you're, because also different point. When submitting music to playlist curators, it's always, kind of difficult what you're gonna find, but a lot of them really go for the production. It's like, well, it doesn't really sound like, uh, whatever, like what's marketable today or X, Y, and Z. And it's like, well, it doesn't have to. Like if your message is strong enough and like if people vibe to your music, like, I'm aware there's certain parameters you have to have in your production, but as far as like, somebody's gonna like it, you need only one yes, right?
You only need one yes, and you got to find yourself as an artist. For me, in my experience with so many different artists, here's what I've found. Generally, and I'm making a huge generalization, but I have found artists that are okay. They're making their way. I have found artists that they're really good, and matter of fact, they're phenomenal. But there's only one problem: they sound just like somebody else that already exists, identical. And you can tell, it's funny. And you ask, oh, so you like Stone Temple Pilots, don't you? Oh no, I don't even listen to them. No, you're a fan. No, you like Led Zeppelin. Come on, man. I mean, just come out with. I mean, and if you like Led Zeppelin, then and that's the sound that you're going for. I don't have a problem with it, um, but yeah, I've found a lot of artists that are really exceptionally well. But the only thing is, there's already somebody that's exactly identical to them. And then the third is someone that's original and absolutely phenomenal that blows your mind. And those are always the ones that make your head spin. You're like, wow, not only you sound good and there's sonically something going on that's really good. And it may be, sonically similar to other things, but there's something so unique, whether it be the artist's voice or the way they go about stuff, you're like, man, they're in their own space. And when I hear it, whether it be the instrumentation or the vocals, it's like, that's them. There's nobody else in that lane. They're in the fast lane or they're in the right lane, whatever lane they're, but that's their lane. That's, and it's really cool when you see that.
Yeah, exactly. So you mean Greta Van Fleet? No, I'm kidding. Man, I, I
No,
like
not at all.
I
Not
like
at
Greta
all.
Van Fleet, but
They don't like Led Zeppelin.
no. No, no, it's funny now you mention it because I remember playing a show with a band, and the lead singer was like, I wrote this song when my girlfriend broke up with me, and then I wrote this other song when my girlfriend broke up with me, and I wrote this other. I was like, at one point, people in the audience just started just like making fun of the guy because it was just so funny. And he loves Red Hot Chili Peppers. It's, and every single song sounds like Red Hot Chili Peppers, which is really funny. But anyways, I mean, yeah, it's very natural to when you first write your first song or like when you record your first song that it sounds like somebody else because it's really, what else do you got? What other thing have you made?
Right.
Um, like if you listen to the first albums of like most artists, it just sounds like somebody else. Except for the 30 Seconds to Mars a debut album, it's weird in a good way. Anywho, but yeah,
Totally
if you
different.
listen to,
Totally different.
pardon?
Totally different. The first 30 Seconds to Mars.
It's unique. It sounds like a lot of things, but it's very, I feel like they've, I
They
don't know,
found
they
their lane. They found their lane. Right.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
else was in it? Not exactly.
But what was I gonna say? Yeah, so I feel like you need to listen to a lot of music. You need to listen to a lot of artists, different genres, because a lot of successful artists are mixes of different genres. You know, it's very important that if you want to be literate as an artist, that you have a big catalog of different music that I'm not saying you have to like everything, but at least you're aware of what it sounds like, where they're coming from. Like I make metal music, but I can listen to I don't know, salsa. Like I appreciate it. I can
Why
listen
not?
to, yeah, exactly. Like, classical music, bachata, some pop songs are good, even though people in the rock space don't really like pop music, but hey, there's some bangers in there. So I mean, yeah, if you want to sound unique enough, you gotta, have a vast library of music in your head so you can get inspiration from.
Yeah, I pull from everything, and then same thing. Like I remember in high school, I mean, I was pretty much mostly, well, rock and hip hop, but sometimes a good pop song come on, and I just feel like, man, that's a great song. Why are you listening to that? That's not tough. That's not, that's not the stuff we listen to. It's like, yeah, but it's great, and the songwriting's good. And here I am, 3 hours later, it's still in my head. So I appreciate that for what it is too. That's good writing.
Exactly. Yeah. Um, yeah, it's trying to pull from like what makes you move, right? Like I find inspiration in like the most strange like places sometimes. Like I was listening to what's the band called? Jesus, I had it. What's the name of the band? Hold on a second. I have it right here. Uh where are you guys? Dead or Alive. They have a song. Well, you probably know it. You spin me around. You spin me around, round, baby.
Spin me right round. Was that the name of the band? Dead or Alive?
Oh, it was Dead or Alive.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Yeah.
It's like an 80s,
Oh man, no, that song was killer.
yeah, exactly. And I was
Yeah.
just like, Jesus. And then I don't know, out of that song, I heard something, and I started to write a completely different song, but it just like made me write music. You know what I mean?
You started from there, but then you went your own way.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like that's very important if you have like writer's block or whatever. Some people use drugs.
Some people go to a different place, don't they?
Oh, yeah, they do. Not me though.
Yeah.
I am, yeah, I'm clean. Actually, people might say I'm kind of boring in that way, but hey, I want to see my great grandkids someday. You know what I
That's
mean?
right, man. That's right. That's right.
I mean,
Jam.
nothing wrong with like, having a little bit of fun here and there, but you gotta know your limits.
Yeah, you got to know your limits. It's got to stay out of the bad stuff. No doubt about it. Right, right, Jan. She's nodding her head. Yes. Yeah, yeah. No, yeah. Drugs was never really my thing, really, and alcohol never really helped the music either. If anything, it slowed it down. Um, Maybe getting over a little bit of stage fright, but after a while, I don't know.
It's like riding a roller coaster. You're there in line just waiting for your time to die, and then once you get there, you just want to get on and on and on again and again and again, like I find like after playing like a maybe like a 2 hour set, I'm just like, damn, that's it. Like
Right,
really? It's
right.
over? Like you blink and it's over.
Because you're so in the moment, and boom, 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 boom. Next thing you know, it's done. Like, where did the time go? Because you're it's almost like I wouldn't say it's like getting higher, but it's just kind of it's a natural high, right? It's a
It
buzz
is. It
being on
is,
that stage, right?
Yeah, it's a healthy high. I don't
The
know.
buzz. There's nothing, man. There's nothing like getting on that stage. The lights. You can't. You see silhouettes. You can't. There's people
Yeah.
out there, but you can't really see them. But
It,
yeah,
it's so
all eyes
funny.
on you.
It's really funny because when playing a show, sometimes my girlfriend is just like, "Oh, I was like doing this or whatever," and I was like, "I can't see anything, man. Like, I can't see Jack, you know."
Bright lights in my face and people screaming or whatever.
Yeah.
Dancing, moving, and but yeah,
Yeah.
it is a drug. Yeah, it is a drug. There's nothing like it, especially the first song or two. It's like that break. You break it in, and then after that, it's like, oh man, now we're happy. You know what I mean? First couple songs, and then it's like, okay, it's on.
Exactly.
That's
Well, I don't know if you have like specific questions planned, but now that we're talking about live, performances or playing live, it's kind of interesting how the focus has shifted nowadays. Like, there's obviously a huge underground scene everywhere you go. There's clubs everywhere, bands playing every single night. But I feel like the maybe before 20 years ago, if you're a club band, you could actually be able to maintain that lifestyle, right? But I feel like right now, a lot of the focus has shifted towards people who have like a lot of following in social media and like a lot of press-ins and viral clips and songs and it's really interesting and like I don't know why, but as somebody who's 23 who's supposed to be, social media savvy, I'm just like I don't know how to do this, man. Like I have no idea. Like my parents were teenagers in the 80s, so like obviously and I was raised very similarly to the way they were raised. So I'm just like, you're supposed to be posting stupid things on here, talking like just what? I don't know.
yes, yes. It is totally game changer. Yeah, back in the day, it was clubs. It was who you're opening for, the bands you're sharing the bill with, hoping to get linked up with this band and open up for that band and grow a base. And there's still some of that going on. I mean, as a matter of fact, a lot of people that I talk to on my podcast, I mean, they're out there playing live and they're getting on some really good bills to tour. But yeah, it's all about social media savvy. So, would you say that's one of the challenges that you're working on for your goals for
Oh yeah.
2025?
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, I feel like everything is a excuse me, a challenge, a good one though. From like learning how to, polish my production. I'm actually going to school for music production. I'm doing a master's in Barcelona in a few months. But yeah,
Right.
definitely social media is a huge thing for me because I'm not really sure how to navigate it. And it's so weird because you see videos of like the most random things that just go viral and you go like, what? Like
That
I re
makes
pardon?
that makes sense, right? It's like why, who, why is this interesting?
Yeah, exactly. Like I just saw a video of a kid, literally like 7 years old, and he was in front of the camera and he was like, "So this is my plan for the summer. I want to go visit my grandparents. And then I want to go," and it had like 1 million views on TikTok. And I was like, like good for him though, but what? Like how are people
How do you
watching this?
calculate that stuff? I have no idea. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
hard.
so go ahead.
It's hard. It's hard to know what's gonna, have that viral ticker, that viral thing. But I do have a quasi solution for you. It's yeah, it's social media, but it's not in the way that, of like a viral thing or TikTok thing. But one thing I do know, um, a lot of artists are doing is that they're running Facebook ads and they're previewing one of their songs, or they're saying, "Hey, do you like so and so and so and so and so and so?" And they could even be opposite types of artists. Well, if you like them, check out my track and let me know what you think. And if you like it, put your email and your name, and you start building up a list. And what they're doing is they're creating monthly memberships
Mm,
of just inside of your creativity. So it's you and you're meeting up with your fan base once a week or twice a week or what have you, showing them the songs that you're working on, the upcoming releases. And fans love that stuff because some of them are going to be musicians, but some of them will be like, you know what? I have no idea how to play the damn drums. I don't know how to play guitar like he does. I don't know how to sing like he does. But damn, I love watching him make music because that's so cool. Like for me, when I see an artist on some of this online stuff and they're making this amazing painting and within like minutes, it's like I'll never be able to do that. I'm never going to try, but I love watching it because I think that's so creative and so cool. But there's a lot of people that would love to get the inside track to you, seeing you in this, clips of you in the studio, upcoming releases that are not out yet, and you just meet up with them and you give them that and you get feedback and say, tell the group, hey, what do you guys think about these two songs? I'm not sure which one's going to be my next release on Spotify, but I wanted to get feedback. What do you guys think about these two songs and why do you like song A versus song B? And you get all this amazing feedback, and then you really know how to market yourself to a second level. It's not necessarily viral per se, but it's solid. And I mean, it also helps finance, what you're trying to do as far as, financing the recording of the album or financing the marketing, because, just as, so many artists that spend money on the gear and that's great and stuff, but you got to spend just as much on the marketing as you do on the gear or the studio time.
exactly. So, I mean, yes, that is actually started a little like what is it, like a broadcast channel on my Instagram. I've only like I started it like 2 days ago.
Awesome.
So it's something that I do want to work on to get more, just closer to people that are actually interested in what I'm doing. Because like, uh, uh, um, yes, like you said, people are just interested in people doing other things that sometimes they can't do themselves. People just want to entertain themselves, and a lot of people are just bored. Um, so yes, that is something that I'm actually, just like starting to work on because yeah, I need to hone in my, social media presence and just to entertain people beyond just what's on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever. The other thing that I'm kind of struggling with is playlist placements on Spotify. That is it's man, it's
Tough,
so it's so
tough.
weird. It's so weird because there's a lot of companies that like offer, placements, whatever, and then you have to pay for them, and it's like, And Spotify recently just started, cracking down on bot.
Payola.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's kind of scary, because I don't want to get my music banned. It's like,
You know, I'm sure it's still going on. I'm sure it's still going on. That's so funny about the record business is that, I mean, it's been going on forever. I mean, before all of our times, I mean, we're talking, 40s, 50s, palms were getting greased. And so all of a sudden, certain artists were emerging with, who, some of them were fantastic. I read this amazing book. What's the guy's name? I am terrible with names, but this guy was talented. Kind of like he did everything. Kind of like you. Hold on, I have it in my Audible, but it was the book is like my life and the mafia, but it was a you're gonna laugh at this. This guy had such a story, and I'm dying to talk to him because his experience was just like it's something out of a movie. Um, but really did happen. I mean, it was me, the mob, and the music. Tommy James and the Shondells. Okay,
Okay.
so this dude, man, this guy was kind of a stud because he started young, was playing young, and he basically somewhere in the Midwest. I think he grew up in, but he was playing clubs, in his teenage years, like a lot of us and stuff like that. And he got this random hit, which I think it was Hanky Panky, which was a cover.
Hmm.
My Baby Does a Hanky Panky, and he didn't think much of it. And some small record label signed him in Wisconsin or something. But anyway, make a long story short, the song ended up being this hit, at least I think in the Midwest, and the record company was just like, the little indie label, like, this is all we can do, which is, as far as I can take it. But we should take this. It's already proven. Let's take it to New York and and so I won't tell the whole story, but so he goes to New York and they shop into a bunch of labels, Columbia, Atlantic, and all this. And a lot of them were actually interested. Oh man, yeah, man, that's a smash, whatever. And then he met this other label, which was I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, all these interested people one day, suddenly the next day, they all dropped off the face of planet Earth. They all just disappeared. Nobody picked up his phone call except for the one label, and that label was pretty much run by the mob. And let me make you an offer you can't refuse. So anyway, the label was like total payola, like straight up, and he had huge. I mean, he's a very talented guy. If you listen to his stuff, um, Crimson and Clover, massive hits, massive. And basically, it was kind of a one man band. He'd go out and tour, and but it was him. He was the band. He was the Shondell. But long story short, this has been going on for years and years and years and years.
No,
So
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, the answer to your question, how do you get around it? That's something that we should explore, yeah, because I still think payola is still happening somehow. It's promotions, it's marketing company, and then what they do once you pay the fee, I don't know, but somehow you end up getting on that list, right?
Exactly. And like it's kind of like, you know, uh really, like I said, hard to navigate to like who to pitch, right? Because, obviously if you just go down Google and just, let's say day one, you put out a song, you go, oh gee, how can I get my song in a playlist? And then you have all these companies, and then you go, oh my God, $400 for what? 300 streams? Like, sure. And then you pay, and then all your money for marketing is gone. Um,
I'll figure, right?
yeah, and something you said before about marketing was just as important as investing in the studio and everything. Um, I've met a lot of band, well, not really a lot, but I met a few bands that they're like working their ass off to finance their record, and like they're paying, I don't know, like 6 grand per song. Um, and that's it. They got their song and then they just don't know what to do with it. And it's
Gotta,
like,
gotta market it. Got to,
yeah. Yeah. And
have
like
to.
it happened, whether you're Disney, it doesn't matter. Like they recently released like a Pixar animated movie and it flopped hard. They didn't market it at all. Like it doesn't matter if you're Universal Studios, or if you're somebody like me who's just writing music out of their bedroom and just producing it. You need to market your stuff and you need to find the way of doing it. And right now we live in a time where social media is free and you can just, post stuff in there and use it. But yeah, the payola thing, it's like it's been proven like today, most hits today are just
Well,
I'm not really sure. I'm probably just with a tinfoil hat right now, but the reason why a lot of those hits have so many streams is because there's a shit ton of restaurants playing them night and day. It's
well,
like that's gotta, be, those playlists gotta be, there's some, sketchy going on in there.
something going on. But
Mhm.
here's what I would say to the example you said with the band that spends 6K, probably has a killer, record each song. But if they could probably do it for half. I mean, if I was involved with them, I'd say, listen, maybe you don't need to spend six. I mean, I don't know what they're doing, but why don't you spend 3K on the song and 3K on a Facebook ad campaign, which get you a whole lot of recognition and potential new fans and exposure. Um, then just of course, I mean, you want it to sound good. Don't get me wrong, but split it in half and put half of that towards a Facebook campaign. I would say minimum or something. Now, back in the day, a lot of it was like, buying an opening spot on a tour. I saw a lot of that. Buddies of mine that I played with that, were kind of hired guns and next thing you know, he's playing with this dude that pretty much bought his way on an opening spot on a tour. Those could be good if you can get a crossover audience and really connect with them and everything. But to me, having that campaign where you're really connecting with your fans one by one by one, instead of going wide, going really, really deep with a one-on-one relationship with your fans, they'll love the hell out of you. And after you get your first 100 devout followers, they're going to preach the gospel for you. You're going to be like, you know what? He's talented and he's cool as hell. And I
Exactly.
talk to him on a regular basis and I feel like I know who he is as an artist. And they're going to go out there and spread the word.
Exactly. Yes. And that is now that you mention it, I last year I put out a song, not to get too political, but well, my girlfriend's Ukrainian. And I have a lot of Ukrainian friends, like a lot of Ukrainian friends.
Oh, yeah.
Which is interesting because I am from Costa Rica. There's no Ukrainians here. I was living in Canada.
How's that
Uh,
happen?
yeah, so I just wrote a song for, like, I was like, hey, what do people listen to when they're in that situation? Like maybe like literally just like a soldier and like fighting
Yeah.
in a trench. So I wrote a song, and I put it out, and I did like a little, yeah, like a small Facebook campaign. The amount of people texting me in Russian and Ukrainian, just saying thank you, it was, you know, just so humbling, to see how tiny little Facebook campaign and a song with, like, a certain intent behind it, it can do wonders basically. And obviously I didn't do it for, just to be like, ha, see, look, I'm cool. No, it's just I just did it because I'm like, hey, why not? Might as well use my talent for to bring at least a little bit of hope to somebody. Um,
Absolutely. Absolutely. They're going through hell.
yeah.
So, it's and that's great that you did that. And I'm sure they so much appreciate it. But you see, I mean, that you take that and you could boost it. You could look at the analytics from that campaign and say, okay, they really liked this song or that song, and now you got a fan base in Ukraine, man. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
who needs entertainment more than Ukraine right now,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, I would if I was going through, I'd want something to get me through the day, whether it was a great song or a great video or something.
Yeah, especially now because I feel like there's a huge music industry in Ukraine, right? But it's mostly just like Ukrainian artists writing songs for their own country, right? But I feel like somebody who is not Ukrainian trying to support, what they're going through, like, really speaks volumes. And that is something that I kind of want to segue into. It's like I feel like I've met people who just make music just because they just want to be famous, right? And it's like, well, I mean, cool. Like that works, whatever. But if you find something you're like passionate about that you can't really say in like a, I don't know, like a Thanksgiving dinner, just write a song about it, man.
Yeah.
Just, pump it out, do it. There's people that are going to connect with you. on a personal level, just because, we have a certain thing you want to say, right?
What do you do when you get stuck, when you're working on a song and you get stuck on a track? How do you break out of that?
Oh man, I listen to more songs, to other artists, because sometimes like it happens a lot. I have like maybe like four different sessions open right now of like songs I'm working on. And then maybe I'm like, okay, maybe I need like a hook in here, or like a bridge, some sort of a bridge, but I just don't know what to do. So I don't know. I just close down my computer and I take maybe one, or as long as it takes, I just start just listening to music and just kind of like forgetting about it.
Yeah,
And then it just comes, like, simple as that. It's different for everybody, but for me, I found out that if I just like leave it alone, listen to other artists, other songs, it's just like boop, clicks.
just like a download, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
From up in the sky. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I've had that.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about, well, what's the fastest you've recorded a song start to finish?
Uh, I'm gonna say maybe from like the inception of the song. Like I one day I was in Vancouver and I had nothing to do because it was snowing. Which is, Vancouver doesn't really snow that much, but
Not at all.
no, not a lot, but
It's not
but
cold up
because of
there.
that, yeah,
No.
but because of that, the city collapses, so nobody's ready for snow. So there's public transport, you know,
Really?
yeah, it's hilarious.
Wait,
It's
wait. Am I getting confused? In Vancouver, it's not cold like the other side, right? So is it warmer or no?
it's it's warmer, but in the winter it snows for like maybe like 2 weeks, and everything collapses because nobody's ready for it.
They're not
It's
built
it's
for
like
it.
maybe like 3 inches of snow, and everybody goes, "Oh my God, can't go to work today."
That sounds like
Yeah.
where I'm from, Virginia Beach. So the whole city shuts down.
But anywho, so I don't know. I woke up that day. I'm like, what am I gonna do today? I'm gonna write a song. So I wrote it, and from start to finish, from where I wrote it till I recorded it completely, probably 12 hours, fully mastered, produced.
Right? So it can
Yeah,
be done.
it can be done. It's got to be on the zone.
So what we're really teaching in the community is to release one song a month, which I think is enough time. I mean, what do you think about that? If you had to write one song a month on time every time, what would you do to set aside your schedule to get that done?
Oh man. So I usually, it's kind of a hard question for me to answer because I write like 5 songs a month already. But let me see.
This is so you're like a creative zone.
Dude, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
sleep. I work whatever study, and then when I'm not studying or working, I'm writing music and recording it. Like that's what I do. But let's see. I feel like if for some people it might help to have like maybe, okay, let's see. On Tuesday, I have I know I do drums. On Wednesday, I, do guitar and bass. On Fridays, I record vocals, and then Sunday and whatever, I mix them. If you're actually mixing those things, or if you have to like book a session in the studio, or like if you have to write it, then just be like, okay, I'm gonna write on Fridays instead of like going out and whatever. I'm just gonna stay home and write every
Yeah.
single Friday. Like I don't know, just set aside like a day for it. But from what I've experienced personally, like people that write music don't need like a specific time. You can just be on the bus and you just go like, oh, hold on a second. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Stop the music, get my phone out, notes.
Voice
No, no,
note.
no, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no, not done. Or like sometimes I'm like, I don't know, in school or like at work, and I just like have like a little melody playing in my head. I go to the bathroom, get the voice notes, and start just humming it.
Now, when you do the voice note, as I'm sure you've had this happen to you as well, I'll get a voice idea and it sounds killer because as I'm singing it, I'm hearing exactly what I project it's going to be. But then sometimes you get the voice note later and you're like, dang it, what I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like you're trying to recreate what you have one single voice on the voice note, but it's not quite what you thought it was going to be. Do you ever have that happen?
Yes, all the time. Because like it's
I'm
just
not the
a
only
no,
one.
you're not. It's a very low quality voice note if you're humming, or you're just singing or yelling, whatever. I don't know. But yeah, how do you get over that? Well, um something that helps me, I don't know, like I said, everybody's different, is that and then I start singing the part. So that helps me to like maybe like have a little perspective on like what was I thinking at the moment, and like how does the I don't know, the specific how do you call it, like pattern goes, right? And then after that I'm just like, oh, so that's what I wanted to do. And then I go on the keyboard and I go, okay, let me do some harmonies to this. Or I take the guitar and I'm like, okay, let's just do some chords that go with this, specific part. But usually what happens is that I don't really come up with like the, let's say, like the vocal part first. It's just the instrumental. So but yeah, I don't know. To me, what helps, maybe somebody else might help too, is just keep tempo, and then you go, okay, that sounds more like a song that's just like somebody who was drunk and started singing out of nowhere, you know?
No, but I've done what I'll do is I'll scat the drums, I'll scat the bass, and I'm over dramatic about it to make sure I know, or I'll just say bass, and then I'll do the bass part, do the drums, you know. And sometimes I even describe the guitar. I'll be like, oh, the guitar like so and so, with that kind of tone from that song, or the
Yeah,
vocals from so and so, kind of the way he was doing it, and then I can go, oh, okay, 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 and put it back together, right?
exactly. Like, yes. So something I also do is when I'm like, I have an idea for a song, I might like hum like the intro riff, whatever, like a lick of the song to it, and then I write in the notes, inspired by what X whatever song, like I don't know, like song by Rammstein or something. You know what I mean? And then I have like, oh, okay, so that's what I was thinking in that moment. Because you do
Yeah,
that thing and then you move on to, send that report that you need to submit, and then just forget about it.
right, right. But it's always great to have a reference, like you said. You know what's cool too about humming stuff or singing stuff? You'll do stuff that you would not orthodoxly do on the guitar, right?
Yes.
You're
Yes.
humming it, and you're like, if you were just sitting there playing scales or your chords, whatever, you wouldn't naturally, but your mind will go to places, and then transmuting that on the guitar or keys, it's actually some really cool stuff.
It's hard too, because like sometimes like my brain thinks I'm more talented than what I actually am. I'm like, how the how the hell I'm gonna I can't play this. I can't play
Uh,
this. Like what I was. I don't know. I think it's like finding a compromise with like what you want and what's actually possible. And that's not me saying like, oh, you have to write, shittier music. It's just, hey, just be creative and find a workaround. Because you might have a cool lick or a cool riff, and then it's just like, uh, what? I can't play that fast, or I can't do this little hammer on or whatever. I can't do that. So, just find like a creative compromise to that. Yeah, it's really interesting because yes, you're right. Sometimes you're just like, wait, what was I thinking? You know what? Something that happens to me quite often is that I am like finding like, okay, what notes was I singing here? You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to find the note on the guitar that I was singing, and I'm like,
okay.
spent like 15 minutes trying to, okay, yeah, I just found out that my guitar's out of tune, you know?
That darn B string. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that happens to you as well. Like if you're trying to, you sang something and just like, wait, is that
Yeah.
even a good note?
No, yeah, it's like it's in between notes, or you're kind of bending it or something like that, and then piecing it together. But I've had pretty good luck with that, singing something and then playing it on the guitar. Yeah, I mean, but sometimes it's like you said, it's crazy. It's like that's not the way you do it, but you come up with some really unique stuff, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like I said, it's about like just like finding like a compromise, like a creative compromise with like what you actually, what you can do. And sometimes like it's just better for the song, At the end of the day, you might like you might think that you need like a cool solo here and just like, I'm shredding. It's like, well, does the song really need that, or you're just like showing off? You know what I mean? Like you got to think about the whole picture, not just like, oh, this cool solo I'm writing or whatever.
Yeah. Or for me, it just goes back to a reference song. It's like, is it needed? Is it not? Okay, well, who, what are like three reference songs I can listen to? Do they have a solo in it? Oh, this one does. Okay, well, how does he incorporate the solo? Is he doing the usual with the verse, chorus, solo, or is he just doing the solo at the end? Or how can I make it more interesting and flip it from what he was doing? You know? Um, yeah, I think people don't use references enough, really, for me. At least when I
No.
started off, I was like, I gotta be so original. I wish I spent more time studying other people's music, you know?
Yeah, and it's I feel like it's natural, because you obviously don't want to sound like somebody else, you just want to be yourself, right? So you're just like, well, I gotta shut myself off, and you can't.
No,
It's impossible. Everybody, like even like Michael Jackson or like I don't know, yeah, everybody has somebody they look up to, Um, it's yeah, like I said, don't try to invent the wheel, right?
they all do. They all do. One of my
Yeah.
favorite artists, Prince. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, he's super unique. Yes, super original, basically a genius. But as and I studied his stuff so much that you begin to see his influence though, and you go, oh no, okay, this didn't come out of thin air. No, no, he's a disciple of Sly and the Family Stone. You know, I mean, different band, different artists, but when I listened to Sly, I was like, oh, I see where Prince is getting it. And then I was like, well, let me listen to James Brown. Oh, I see where Prince is getting. And so everybody's pulling from something. There's only 12 notes. It's like, you know,
Yeah,
uh,
or like I love Bon Jovi, and I was listening to Bruce Springsteen a few days ago, and I was like, hold on a second, that's a Bon Jovi record right here. What the
right?
hell?
Right?
You know?
It's so funny you say that because I think more recently, listening to Bon Jovi, like, there's a lot of, I mean, of course, they're both from New Jersey, but yeah, no, they're huge. Springsteen is a huge influence on Bon Jovi, for sure.
Yeah,
Especially now with the voice and the style. Totally.
yeah, exactly. It's you gotta pull from what moves you, if what you like is yodeling music. I don't know, man. Like you can, if you like, like some deep house music, and then you also like people that yodel. I don't know. I'm
Hey,
just saying stuff. You know what I mean?
there's something there. You
Yeah,
gotta
yeah,
you gotta pull from anything and everything.
yeah, exactly.
You know,
Um, I don't know. I feel like it's really important now that you understand like the going back to music production. It's so important because music studios are only getting more expensive now. It's very important that you have like at least knowledge of what you want in the studio. Like I don't know if I'm making a point here or not, but
you gotta have direction. And you gotta know what you want because
yeah.
coming in there and out of nowhere, it's like you gotta have a reference, and this is what you're looking to do. I mean, I remember being a hired, you know, gun guitar player and was hired to write songs. And the singer, she came in and said, write me something moody. I'm like, okay, but like that could mean a million, like that's what kind of moody, like deep, dark, slow moody or grungy moody or soulful, funky moody, like, So it's always good, like you said, to know kind of where you're trying to go.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's and even it's like hard to really know kind of like what you want because like you hear from everybody just saying just focus on singles, just put out singles and singles and singles. So I've seen like a lot of artists just like you go to their whatever Spotify, Apple Music, and then you listen to one song and you go cool, and then you listen to another song and you go what the hell is this? So I feel like everybody's just like too focused and just like you gotta put stuff out and just put it out. Like, sure, people might not listen to albums that much anymore because, playlists and attention spans are going, every day they're lower. But it's always good to have a creative vision, at least, some sort of like direction of what you want to do with your songs, both lyrically and sonically.
Yeah.
I think it's important because another example, like I said, like my Ukrainian friends, like they don't know. Well, a lot of them know very little English, but they listen to a lot of American artists, and it's not because of the lyrics, it's because of the song, you know. Um, so you got to craft your sound, like listen to a lot of music. Um, yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, what else are you planning on doing in 2025, music-wise?
Pardon, can you say that again?
What else are you planning on doing in 2025, music-wise?
Oh man, so I'm putting out a single every month. Uh, I decided it was time to do that, and I have so much just music in the pipeline. So yes, that's one of them. I'm literally putting out a single this Friday, and then August, September, October, November, and then December, I'm dropping a single, and then in the middle of December, like I forgot when it was, but sometime in December, an album. Um, and then yeah, that's basically it for 2025. And I just want to use this little experiment as like, okay, I need to get better at promoting my music. So the stuff that I'm gonna learn with like single number one, I'm gonna apply it to single number two, and I'm gonna learn other things in single number two, and I'm gonna make some mistakes there. So I'm just wanna, you know what I mean? Like try to get better and better and better at releasing music. Because it's not enough just to put out music and just expect everybody to listen to it, because that's just not gonna happen.
No.
So I need to get better at it. So that's why I'm doing this thing of releasing a single every month. Also, I feel like another thing that I really like have on like my, bingo card, I don't know, is getting better at like communicating with like my label. I recently got started working with the Orchard. Uh,
Nice.
yeah, so yeah, they're not going to do anything if you don't communicate with them, right? Even your distributor and everything. So it's like I need to get, build like a more solid relationship, I guess. And I feel like for number three is to, yeah, just get better at music production, just get better at it.
Good skill.
Yeah, keep
Good skill.
finding, yeah, yeah.
You can control your destination, right? That's the biggest thing I learned. I remember, when I first came to LA, I was getting these production deals, and each one was cool, but it was kind of like, we're kind of going where I want to go, but not quite. But every time I learned, then I was like, oh, that's how you make a beat. Oh, okay, that's how you. And then suddenly I was able to just put out my own stuff and just produce it myself. So I congratulate you for doing that because you control your musical vision that way, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And but I also need to maybe like build a support a system around me, because I don't know everything, you know what I mean? Like I need people to know a lot more than me so I can grow. So I feel like that's because if you do everything yourself, yes, that's good, but then your growth is a little bit, it takes longer to get places because you need people to teach you stuff, right? So yeah,
You need accountability, most definitely, and a community that supports you,
100%.
most def, because you can get so close to it, you can't. What does it say? You can't see the forest through the trees. Whatever they
Yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah. I can see the forest for the trees, something. Yeah, yeah.
So awesome, awesome. Jan, you got anything to add? No? Mark, dude, this is great, brother. Appreciate it, man. Then we'll talk outside of this again. But dude, that was great, great live Q&A, brother.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity, and yeah, I'm looking forward to chatting more. This was great, really
Great
educational.
forum. And
Rob,
just, I think that audiences also people, the one thing that I think that they like to participate. When you're on Spotify, they're strictly audience, but when they're part of the process, they're part of the expansion, and I think that you know, there's more chance for evolution that way for both the listener and the creator.
most definitely, most definitely. See, that goes back to what I was saying about getting your base and getting a small group, hardcore fans in the beginning that are involved with your process and involved and for me, like I started doing it during COVID, and that when we got out of COVID, I stopped. But I'm going to go back to that, running ads and building my base again. And one of the things I plan on doing is what cover songs could you guys see me doing? Oh, you think I could do this? You think I could do that? Putting it out, getting a vibe, and doing those cover versions, saying which ones did you guys like better? Like really involving with them with the process, with the creative process, because they feel like they really are inside.
Especially if they aren't creative, then it's they're gratified on another level as well. What
That's right.
was what happened with, is it Isis who we were talking to last week?
Yeah, she couldn't make it tonight. She had to do a show. She's doing a show in Vegas, or I think it's rap Olympics or something crazy. But
Oh, she was really busy. Mar, you would really enjoy her. I hope she can make it next time.
yeah, super cool. She's doing a lot of stuff, and I'm trying to show her how you can, because she's having situations where she's trying to have tracks made, and sometimes the producer's not available. And that's one thing I'm promoting in the community is I just joined Musiversal, and Mara, I don't know if you know what. Have you heard of them?
No.
Super cool. Now you're kind of like insane, so you probably may not need the service, but dude, so it's okay. Unlimited instrumentalists, producers, engineers, songwriters, artwork. I mean, for $200 a month, and I think you can have 3 sessions scheduled at any given time. So whatever your thing is, maybe you're good at this or that, but maybe, the mixing or the mastering or whatever, or you want reference mixes compared to your mixes, but unlimited support for $200 a month.
That's crazy.
Crazy. So you imagine the average, music artist today, you got your home setup, you've got your mic, you've got your interface or whatever, and just collab with these guys doing it all the time. And I mean, they chart this stuff out. They chart the stuff out. So most recently, I'm working on a cover of No Diggity, but I'm going to do it my way, which is kind of funny because I actually knew Teddy Riley. He was one of the people that actually got me into the business. But I'm going to do this funky, slow version, but it's going to have a lot more guitar version of No Diggity. And I actually tried to get the drummer to do it, but the BPM was not correct. So what you have to do is give it to some session chart person. They will chart it out perfectly so that when I have the session with him again, it's 30 minutes, he'll knock it out like instantaneously based off the notes and the stuff I told him that I wanted and stuff like that. So it's really cool.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll give it a look because it sounds like, $200 a month for like unlimited support for your music. It's really crazy.
It's insane.
Also, you mentioned Teddy Riley, his production. He worked on Dangerous for Michael Jackson, right? Didn't he?
He did. He
Yeah.
that was so talented, man, and he still is. Still, but he was
What
crazy.
what, what a crazy record because it sounds nothing like what he did. Like when I'm like Michael Jackson as an artist, like it sounds super different. The production quality, the direction of the record, very interesting. But anyways, I'm getting going off topic here. I just, heard Teddy.
No, no, not at all. No, Teddy was like badass. I mean, because I'm from Virginia Beach, and he came down from New York, and he was like the main dude at the time, um, at least in Virginia Beach. But yeah, he did a lot of the Michael Jackson stuff, and he was just incredibly talented, just incredible. And the Blackstreet stuff, I mean, that No Diggity song just blew up, man. But that's Teddy at his best. He had a couple of engineers from Canada, and I met them, super cool guys, and they were there in the studio pretty much 24/7. Like one would be in, one would come out, and he was just knocking out tracks left and right, either for his own stuff or for the other artists he was working for. And it was funny. I mean, I'd go in there and, and I'd be, Teddy, when are we going to work on a track together? It's like, man, I would. But tonight I'm doing a remix for Prince. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Like, how am I going to complain about that? And I'd come back again the next night and be like, man, I'd hang out, I'd do a track with you, but tonight I'm doing a remix for Mick Jagger. So.
Yeah, he's got to do his thing.
Little busy, just slightly busy guy. But yeah. Well, awesome. Hey, I'm gonna wrap this up, but thank you so much, and let's do it again on Thursday.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Thank you so much for having me. And well, I'll see you then.
Awesome. See you guys.